Welcome, wrestling fans. Welcome to Curtain Jerkin. As always, I'm your host, Jacob Grondy, reporting for the Main Event Marks YouTube channel. You can also check me out on Spotify. However you're listening to my voice, I appreciate it. And we're going to jump into AEW Dynamite. I'm going to rank every single match from worst to first. I'm going to give you my thoughts about all the promos and everything that happened beyond the actual matches on the show. But first, I'm going to get you guys up to speed with WWE Speed. This week, Angel Garza versus Johnny Gargano. Garza goes for a moonsault, no one home. One final beat connects, 1, 2, 3. Johnny Gargano advances in the tournament. He is going up against Bronson Reed next round. And on the other end of the bracket, Ricochet versus JD McDonough. I think that we are on a collision course for Reed versus Ricochet, with Ricochet winning the title, slaying the proverbial giant, if you will. And then you will have a Speed champion. I guess there's going to be a title for this. You know, I'm not a big fan of too many titles, and this might be a few too many titles in WWE. But I love this concept. I've mentioned it before. I've mentioned it almost every time I've talked about it. 3-minute matches. It makes sense psychologically of why you would work at a faster pace. You can get guys like, we saw Cedric Alexander on this. We saw, JD McDonough get some shine. Angel Garza get some shine. Guys who, would have been on 205 Live a few years ago, now being able to showcase their athleticism in a way that makes sense psychologically for the story arc of what you're saying. Only a 3-minute match, and you have these matches in between the commercial breaks of a SmackDown and a Raw taping. So I don't know if you guys have ever been to a Raw and SmackDown, but typically they just have nothing going on during a Raw and a SmackDown taping. As of late, they've done things like the DX cam, the Hogan cam, and things like that. But this, I think, is even better. Having a little match for the live crowd in between, taping Raw and SmackDown, in between the commercials. And then it also makes sense. You get to showcase guys that you don't usually get to showcase. It's like a full circle, great idea. And I think I like the concept more than the matches so far, but this one was pretty good. I love Garza. He was great a few years ago when he was the Cruiserweight Champion on 205 Live and NXT. But jumping over to AEW Dynamite, Jon Moxley comes out with the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Man, I wish it was on Naito, but I guess Naito wouldn't be on Dynamite, so more eyes get to see the IWGP champion. So you have the ROH World title on AEW, you have the AEW World title on AEW, and now you have the IWGP champion on AEW. Moxley calls out Callis and the Callis family for putting a hit on Bryan Danielson. He is going to go after the biggest and baddest one, and he challenges Will Hobbs. And then they cut to the CEO, Mercedes Moné. Lights went off last week. Who attacked her? Probably House of Black. You got to assume it was House of Black. I like how they're going from star to star here on the early going. Jon Moxley to Mercedes Moné, and then they cut right to Edge's entrance, or Adam Copeland's entrance. So they're trying to keep people engaged. They're showing people that you probably know from WWE over and over again in a fast course of time to kind of keep people around. I don't know if it works. We'll see. Renee with a sit down with Samoa Joe. Not bad, but kind of mid promo from Joe. I expect a lot out of him. And we also had Swerve with a sit down with Renee as well. That was good as well, but I think the peak of the storyline will happen a little later when Swerve comes out at the end of the show. Joe comes out, security trying to stop them, keep them at bay, but then Swerve gets on the top turnbuckle and hits a Swerve stomp on all 10 security guards as he enters the floor, lands like a cool anime villain, and then he gets in the face of Joe. This spot saw a lot of criticism online. Doesn't make sense from physics. Would a man be able to just double stomp through a bunch of men? No. But did it look cool? Yes, it looked cool, and that's what you're trying to do. Joe did get the better of Swerve at the end of this exchange, which makes me further think that Swerve is going to walk away from AEW Dynasty with the World Championship on Sunday. Renee also had an interview with the Bang Bang Gang, and they challenged the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass to, a winner-take-all 6-man titles, which I think this is good. The AEW Trios Championship and the ROH 6-man Championship should be one. And that way you could have people like the Acclaimed or the Bang Bang Gang, guys who are popular, go on AEW television, and then you can have them maybe possibly get people to stick around for these ROH tapings, because I don't know if you've seen it, but it looks pretty rough sometimes. And I've been to these shows, and not a lot of people stick around. But if you have some star power, they might stick around. Who knows? We'll have to see. I ranked every single match from worst to first, all 5 matches. Number 5, all of these matches were good, but number 5 was Shane Taylor versus Orange Cassidy. Shane Taylor promotions looming overhead, stun dog, then he dives on Lee and dives on a go-go. Orange punch countered by Shane Taylor with a punch, and then Cassidy just orange punches him back. So I don't know why they did this countering thing. I don't know what the hell was up with that. Why couldn't he just orange punch him 1, 2, 3? But I guess that's being nitpicky. Moriarty gets in there, chokes out Cassidy, and then a go-go lands a body shot. Daniels and Seidel try to run out to stop him, but Trent Beretta cuts them off with a chair. And then Shane Taylor's promotions, pick the bones of Orange Cassidy as Trent Beretta makes sure that no one is able to make the save in doing so. I can't believe Trent, man. This is breaking my heart. Every week I'm reminded that he turned his back on the best friends. Number 4, Mariah May and Deonna Purrazzo. Announcers try to make sense of the Stardom wrestler showing up last week. Both ladies working snug here. Toni Storm at ringside. May hits the running hip attack and the DDT. 1, 2, no. Roll up by the Virtuoso. 1, 2, 3. She gets the win. Toni pissed, tries to attack Purrazzo, but Thunder Rosa comes out, hits Luther, saves Deonna, then turns her attention to smudging the makeup of the champion. And then the champion was great here as she opens up her little mirror. I don't know what they call it, like a little makeup mirror, and was disgusted by her smudged makeup. But those 2 matches, decent, but didn't make the podium. What did make the podium? The Young Bucks and Okada versus Daniel Garcia, Penta, and Pac. Good seeing a random team like Garcia, Pac, and Penta out there. Pac hitting a picture-perfect moonsault to the Bucks, then turns his attention to Okada, only to get attacked from behind by Matthew Jackson, one of the Bucks. Penta going off. This is awesome chance from the crowd. And then we see Okada versus Garcia. Okada takes everyone to Tombstone City, hitting Garcia and Penta. Super kick Rainmaker combo to Garcia. 1, 2, 3. The Elite started attacking Garcia with a ladder, but then Pac chases them away with a hammer. And then there you go. We have a ladder match, Young Bucks versus FTR this weekend. You also have Pac versus Okada. All of this 6-man tag set it all up, or kind of reminded you of it, not necessarily set it up. Number 2, the first match on the show, Adam Copeland and Willow Nightingale versus Brody King and Julia Hart. Every time Adam Copeland is involved, there's a little more story to everything going on. I enjoy it. I wonder if he's the mastermind behind it. Someone attacked Willow Nightingale backstage, and then the arena lights go off. Back on, Brody King in the ring. It's a 2-on-1 handicap match. Ref distracted as Julia Hart choking out Adam Copeland here. I like that little spot here. Adam tries to fire back, but gets hit with a lariat, but then moves out of the way of the cannonball. Willow shows up. She's injured, but she ain't gonna stop that from helping out her partner. She gets tagged in, hits a cross body to Brody King. Julia scampers off, spear to Brody. Willow is barking like she's Brody King. She hits a cannonball, but Julia clocks Willow with a chain and then chokes her out. House of Black win the match. Mercedes Moné comes out with an equalizer, a chair, chases out Julia Hart as she runs to the back, but the damage is pretty much done. Willow did get hit with this chain, and then Edge and Sasha shake hands. Ships in the night in AEW. You gotta love it. That was the second best match on the show, the first best match on the show, the best match on the show, the main event as far as wrestling goes on tonight's program. Ospreay versus Claudio. Claudio taking it to the Billy Goat. Will dives but gets caught by Claudio and slams him on the apron, lands some strikes, locks in a sharpshooter, gets reversed by Claudio. He locks in the sharpshooter and then goes into the crossface. Claudio getting the better of Ospreay but can't put him away. Spanish fly from Ospreay. 1-2, no. Lariat from Claudio. 1-2, no. Claudio going for the swing, but as he's swinging him, Ospreay just kind of lifts up like he's doing a sit-up and powers out, hits the hidden blade. 1-2-3. Will Ospreay wins. Don Callis family out there attacking Claudio. Mock shows up. It's a 3-on-2 attack, but they're still able to keep the Callis family at bay. And Will Ospreay's like, hey, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? And they're like, we're being the Callis family, dude. You know we attack people. You've been watching us. You're a part of us, man. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing. No, they don't say any of that. But Will Ospreay, it looks like, after wrestling everyone in the Callis family, still doesn't understand that these guys are assholes and is still affiliated with the Callis family. I don't understand. I'm not in the head of Will Ospreay. But it was a great match. I'm looking forward to Dynasty. Go back and look at my Dynasty predictions. I put up an episode about like 2 days ago with all my Dynasty predictions. Check that out, or let me know your Dynasty predictions somehow on Twitter. Hit me up at JG Pro Wrestling. Fly high. I'm out.